I believe most of you are familiar with the Queen's Gambit. Not the show, the opening. It's an extremely famous opening, but you probably never saw the variation that happens in this game. This is a 1-minute game that I found on Lichess, and it features a 2600 rated player. The game starts with d4, then d5, and c4, the Queen's Gambit. As we all know, e6 is the declined Queen's Gambit, and d-takes is the Queen's Gambit accepted. There's also the Slav defense that starts with c6, but the player with the black pieces chooses e5. The Albin counter gambit. Which is not as bad as it sounds. The best move is d-takes on e5, but the player with the white pieces plays knight to c3, which is not bad. c5. Well, maybe he wants to go d4, in response to d takes c5. Which is never going to be played apparently. Dude. This is starting to look like a game that a certain bot played against himself. Of course. But I have to admit, this is one of the most beautiful positions I've ever seen. But I never thought this is the kind of position that a game could reach in 10 moves. Wow. It keeps going. I mean, it's still working, but the player with the black pieces has to realize that he has no chance if he keeps copying his opponent. Finally, he stopped copying his opponent. And he actually can't keep copying now, because the pawn is in the way. So we have bishop to b7, white plays knight to c6, which is apparently the only move, and we have a trade. In this position, black makes a terrible blunder. He castles. This is a bad move because this puts the king on the same line as the bishop on c4, and there is potential for discoveries, but there's actually not a single good knight move in this position, so you have to start the sequence with the great move, c7. And all of a sudden, black's queen is completely trapped. Black gives a check, but the player with the white pieces moves his king to f1, which is also the best move. Then we get queen to d7, so his opponent goes knight to f6, then picks up the queen on d7, then goes queen to h7, checkmate. According to the database, this position was played 10,603 times.